Right, so I'm going to I'll do a little bit more of this demo here. So carrying on the animals project, and my sort of take on it was animals in the landscape. So that's what I did. So last week did a little bit on pastels, so that was the demo last week. And I've also done the same demo in the other masters. So the slight difference was on these ones I used a bit of pastel paper, so you can see with a greyer background or a different colour background, it just has a slightly different impact. That was that. So this, so far, is underpainting, and I very much like my little sketch I did. So that's the copy of the sketch, but I've made a few changes already. Sort of moved it this way a little bit because I felt like there was a bit too much space there, and this was too close to the edge. But having looked at it now, this morning, I'm thinking perhaps a few more changes still. So I'm wondering about, the nice thing about this is I've got it all traced down, so I've got the tracing and stuff. I wanted to do another version, it's very easy to. So, the reason I wanted to do this one and do this from the drawing as well as other photos was changing colours a little bit as well. I felt like this was a bit too green and I couldn't quite see this section. Feeling like I haven't got enough room here, so I want to move this up a little bit. So it's really a little bit of redrawing to start with. So I'll just perhaps to bring the pathway up a little bit. And the other thing I thought was I wondered if the bird might look better just slightly higher up. I'm just going to re-sketch that. I've only just decided, I was just going to kind of resolve, just work it up a bit in detail, but then I thought, let's just make some changes. So I can sketch him out. Yeah. This needs to be a bit further over. Whoopsie. Actually, what I'll do in a minute is I'll shut the outside door so we don't get so many of those happening. So, right, the seagull can be there, and can work him a little bit more. And then that would mean raising the post up a little bit. And I'm going to keep it at, perhaps keep it a little bit browny. I quite liked on this photo how you've got a light side and a dark side. So I'm going to experiment, although the lighting was a bit flat, so I'm going to experiment with just varying that a little bit, making that a little bit lighter on that side. And then as you come further down, that needs to get stronger and darker. Just block out a little bit of the other. That feels a bit better, I think. Coming into there. The other thing I thought was the ends of these posts kind of more or less line up with the landscape, which isn't very satisfactory. Sometimes it feels better if things are, aren't perfectly lining up. So again, I'm going to raise these ones up a little bit. Bring that up a little bit. This one on a very slight angle, so they're not perfectly vertical, so that can. But again, sometimes, if everything's absolutely regular, it's a little bit boring. So just creating some slight differences that will hopefully add to the general effect. That's there. The same here. I'll raise these, actually not too much, just a tiny bit. The horizontal, that can come a little bit further back. that goes a little bit further back anyway. Sort of boardwalk. And I think that just those changes I think make a little bit of a difference. I think that helps. Make it a little bit darker down here. And to me that's creating a stronger composition. It's only subtle changes, but I think that's helping. So I'll need to redraw that bird in a little bit later. Actually, I think I'm going to have this one angled out in further, which I think I did in my sketch, although it isn't that way. I don't know why I did it in the sketch. But. And then I'll just look some of these shadows in here. And down here. And that gives the impression of the ditch that the bridge is going over. So it kind of makes a bit of visual sense why it's there in the first place then. And the same on this side. So still really working quite tonally. Going to introduce a little bits more colour as we go along. So just really making changes to go. Next week is, well, it's actually the last week of the month, but as with this class it kind of works out at 5 weeks rather than 4. So I was thinking perhaps to leave this project. I can't remember what I've planned for the next one. I'll have a look. But I know last week 1 or 2 people were drawing buildings and struggling a little bit. But I just thought that might be, a one-off, session, just do a little bit of revision of perspective drawing in relation to buildings. It may well be that it's projected buildings anyway, I can't remember.
Perspective,
yeah, so it would be a one-off perspective, and I can always come back to that. So,
you can always put a tree in front, can't you?
Has anybody got any questions? Or the other thing is, if there's anything else in relation to the animals project that I've not covered, I can include that as well. So if anybody's got any requests.
Yeah, I just wonder how you deal with moving animals.
Moving animals, yeah.
Chickens, they don't stand still.
No, to give that impression of movement.
Yeah. Well, just, how do you go about it?
How about drawing? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I'm trying to draw from life, sometimes I do that thing of blind contour where I just look at what I'm drawing, just try and get some lines down. That's the only way I can do it, really. I think anything moving I find quite a challenge, really, trying to get... Some of it is in the... Some like verticals and horizontals have a very static sort of feel, quite a calm, still feel. So if you've got lots of diagonals in the picture, so if you include diagonals, that gives the impression of things moving a bit more. But other than that, I think it's probably softening edges and things like that, not having some bits too defined. But it is something I really struggle with, and it's something I struggle with in relation to painting people as well as animals, anything that moves really. Yeah, so. Okay, yeah. Well, I could have I'll have a little think next week about that.